In a laboratory on the outskirts of Austin, Texas, a team of engineers are designing Amazon's custom computer chips, including those used to train and fuel the latest artificial intelligence models. Host of Markets with Madison Malone, has recently paid it a visit. She continues her sojourn across the United States. Take a watch.
All right, come on in. We start that mindset from the silicon level all the way to the system in the data center.
I'm inside a computer chip lab in Austin, Texas. That's at the heart of Amazon Web Services' custom silicon strategy. This is where engineers are catching up to the most in-demand chip makers in the world, like NVIDIA, to meet scaling demand for AI compute power.
When DeepSeek came out, I think there was a lot of narrative around there. Does this mean that nobody's going to need these machines anymore? The reverse is actually true, which is just an increased demand. Given that models are going to get more efficient, I'm sure there are going to be many more innovations like we saw from DeepSeek, and the demand for compute is going to continue to increase. So that's where we expect things to be going.
An example of that is Stargate, or your internal example would be Project Rainier, 400,000 Trainium chips for Anthropic. What is AWS trying to prove through Project Rainier?
I don't know if we're trying to prove anything. I think we're literally trying to meet a customer's need.
But in terms of the scale, Trainium probably hasn't been tested at that ultra cluster scale yet.
I actually think that would be true of a few ultra clusters at the moment. Like the market is moving so fast, right?
These frontier models also have enormous demand, and increasingly so. Therefore, I can imagine that puts pressure on you and your team to not only deliver the best and most efficient and price performant chips, but also at speed. How do you navigate making the best chip quickly?
Right. There are two aspects of this.
And you can catch that full episode of Madison's program on YouTube. Maddie is with us from the States now. Maddie, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Are you ever going to come home?
I had to double check.
Are you ever going to come home? You're just going to keep wandering around having a great time?
You know what? I'm having a pretty good time, but I will be home soon. I think I'll be home in about 2.5 weeks, so I'll come and pester you.
Come and see us then. Hey, I'm looking forward to this episode because you're meeting. One of the problems with data centers is they suck up a lot of energy. So you've met a startup that plans to build small nuclear reactors to try and solve this problem all over the world. How do they do this? What is the story?
Yeah, that's such a good point. So I've really visited the entire AI stack here, right? From being in Austin, Texas, and seeing what Amazon is doing with the design and deployment of these custom silicon chips to power AI. Specifically, they're working with Anthropic, which if you use Claude or Sonnet models, these are the chips that are literally powering those AI models. And actually, before that, when I first flew into LA, I've just been harboring this episode for a couple of weeks. I went and visited the startup called Valor Atomics, and started by this incredible guy who's 26. He dreamed up this business when he was 16 years old. And they're, as you say, building these small modular reactors. So these are real nuclear fission, nuclear energy reactors. Fission being the splitting of atoms, which, yes, did result in the atomic bomb, but he wants to build this stuff back at scale to power things like data centers, to power these massive industrial use cases. To that point of how much power these data centers soak up, we've even heard from Sam Altman from OpenAI recently saying that their only limitation right now to all of the AI services and abundance that they can bring to economies and to society is purely limited by the amount of compute that they have. So Stargate, as I mentioned at the beginning of that Amazon episode, that is what OpenAI, Microsoft, SoftBank, and Oracle are building out in Abilene, Texas, spending hundreds of millions of US dollars on this project. So money is flowing to it in mega scale because this is a real thing. This is the real tangible AI boom that's happening in front of our eyes.
Yeah, and needs to be powered by something which is why the nuclear thing fascinates me. Is it more, I don't know, is it dangerous to have potentially have lots of little nuclear, power rather than one big one?
Well, apparently, according to Isaiah, it's safer. And I obviously pushed him on the point of safety and fear surrounding these things, which are, absolutely validated fears, after Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But he made an interesting point, was that with every single technological revolution we've had, the only way things get better and safer is by doing things more often. And by being able to build these things at a smaller scale means that they can build nuclear out more frequently, therefore, hopefully, do it better and safer.
Interesting stuff, Maddie. I'll be catching your episode. Thank you as always. Great to see you. Enjoy New York. Madison Malone.
I will.
Markets with Madison. You can watch Markets with Madison on nzherald.co.nz or Markets with Madison, the YouTube channel.